Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fine. So while I'm recording this video, it's that time of the year where most of you all decide which stream to choose, which college to choose, what to do, should I take a gap year, should I not? And this was particularly in my mind for a very long time that I wanted to shoot a video for freshers in architecture and just to share what has been my experience so far and what can you keep in mind. Well, I have made a similar kind of video a few years ago. I think I was in third year or in my fourth year, I don't really remember. You can also check it out, it will be the link in the description. But I think now that I've finished college and everything, I just have many other things that I could probably talk about. So yeah, if you are a fresher looking into getting into architecture colleges, and if you have gotten into one and you just want to know what to expect, so keep on watching. Now, one of the first things that I always talk about for freshers, and I think I have spoken about this in some of my previous videos also, is while just starting your college journey, you should very well keep in mind what college you're going into, what options do you have, what are the finances that will be involved, are you comfortable with it, what is the location of the college, and just in general look into everything that is related to choosing a college. I've also made a very detailed video on how to choose a college, especially for a lot of bachelor students who are actually just starting off their college journey. Now we all sit for competitive exams, right? NATA, JEE, CET that help us choosing colleges. But I believe that is not the only criteria which is really to choose a right college. So before you start this journey, not only take your scores into perspective, also keep in mind what finances you will be involving, what places you want to study in, what are you comfortable with. Have an open conversation with your parents about what you really want to do and what kind of college you really want to choose. If you have certain seniors in certain colleges that you can just ask about the college culture and everything, just keep that in mind. So it is not always about the scores when you're choosing colleges. It is also about your personal preference. So please keep that in mind, and that is some of the most important decisions that you'll make, because that will be sort of, guiding your next 5 years, especially if you're in architecture or even any other technical field for that matter. Now that we're talking about JEE exams, well, it just does not help you getting into architecture. It can eventually help you get into careers like interior design, landscape design, urban design, even UX design for that matter, and obviously help you become a licensed architect, and that can eventually help you be in large firms or maybe start a firm of your own. Well, preparing for JEE Paper 2 and NATA would require a different set of skills from JEE Paper 1. You would need to know drawing and also design aptitude. And this can get very confusing for students who want to appear for these exams and might not know where to start from. Well, that's where PW Architecture can help you out. It's their Architecture Creators Batch and Architecture Pro 2026 batch. In these batches, you can get live and recorded lectures, drawing assignments, mock tests, DPPs, PYQs, and a lot more. So if you're interested in getting proper guidance and structure for your preparation for next JEE Paper 2 or NATA exams, well guys, this is your moment. Go to the link in the description and you can check out the courses. And don't forget to use my coupon code to get more 500 rupees off for any course that you purchase. When you're preparing for exams, it's just so helpful to get proper guidance and to get help and to be able to study from wherever you are at your own pace. Get online recorded lectures and also just good question bank so you can eventually prepare yourself for exams, and PW is doing just that. So do check out the link in the description if you're interested. And thank you PW Architecture for partnering with me for this video. Once you've chosen a college for yourself and you're just preparing to gear up for your first year, well, I never really prepared for my first year, but now that I think back, I think it is some of the very smart moves that you can do. For 5 years, you will be pushed into, challenging yourself, and it will be really great if you could just, take an extra step before starting your college journey. I think some of the most important things, I would just recommend you all to do some light sketching. Don't restrict yourself to the sketching that you've learned for NATA or JEE if you've appeared for those exams. Look into, any kind of drawing or art that you're actually interested in, and just kind of give yourself a month or so if you have to, just keep yourself habitual, because now, especially in your first year, you will be given certain assignments where you would explore art and design more than you would ever do in the next 4 years. So just keep that in mind. Suppose if you really like doing charcoal art or something like that, do that for a month or so before joining college, so your hand is in movement and you actually enjoy doing that in college also. Do that. If that is done, you could also look into certain softwares that could just keep you a little ahead from the crowd. I'm not telling you all to master AutoCAD or Revit even before you have actually started college, because that is practically not possible. But probably you could get habitual with, just using Canva if you've not used it before. Canva is just like a great starting tool for you to create presentations or create portfolios or create posters. If you know Canva already, I think it will also be really helpful if you keep your background in Photoshop also a bit, just kind of start using Photoshop. I believe Photoshop can be used for any purpose, and a lot of us start using Photoshop in school itself if you actually do some sort of poster making or something like that. If you still feel Photoshop's a little intimidating, you could also, just kind of familiarize yourself with the AI softwares. Now, this is something which is very new. I'm sure back when I was making the first version of this video, AI was not really in the picture. But now that you think about it, anytime you guys would make any renders, you can give it an AI render and actually, enhance your design, or kind of use AI to really design a lot of your structures for your assignments. So, kind of use ChatGPT or Midjourney or any software in between which was available for you for renders, or just use it to familiarize yourself, so when you actually need it, you can use it pretty easily. It will also be really helpful if you start using websites like Pinterest, Behance or ArcDaily to just familiarize yourself again with the kind of websites you'll be using ahead and just kind of what's happening in the industry. Because I believe if you just get into it and you're not really aware about it, you will take a little more time to get accustomed than if you just start exposing yourself to the field. It will be much easier. Now, what are the skills that will be really required for you to build up during your 5 years of architecture journey? This is something you realize by the end of first year that, this is expected, that is expected. So I'm just going to help you all by just pointing them all right now. The first thing would be learning model making, which is like physical model making, digital model making. You should familiarize yourself with it, please. If you're not really good with arts and craft like I was, push yourself and make more models. That's just like the baseline of you have to do it. I never liked making models, so I think till third year never really made models, but I never enjoyed it. And then in fourth year, suddenly I just told myself that I'm going to push myself and I'm just going to try. And I'm going to make many models and let's just see something will click. And then after fourth year, I naturally started enjoying because I made many more models and I saw myself getting better at it. So it's just very important. Always keep in mind whenever you're sitting for juries or anything, always have a physical model with you. I've seen jurors, especially because I study in India. I would just say what I've seen. If you're seeing from some other country, I'm not sure. But I think it's the same everywhere. Rather than digital models all the time, if you do physical studies and, kind of tell your professor that, I concluded this, I concluded that. That's just always very helpful. None of my juries, my professors have ever told me that I never had models. I always had them, good, bad, ugly. I just always had them. They are a part of the process, so make sure you have a lot of models and learn how to make them. Second and the most cliche point would be time management. Guys, just do something about it. Architecture is notorious for all-nighters, and I think I've spoken a million times about it. And even when I'm working, I sometimes tend on working very late hours because time management for us architects is usually pretty bad. So just make sure that you're not living a lifestyle that is affecting your health. I think that's a reminder for me too. But just make sure that you're doing your work in time and also enjoying. That is very important, guys. Don't work all the time because, honestly, like we always say, jo hona hota hai wohi hota hai. So make sure you're studying, you're enjoying, and also you have time for yourself, which is very hard, but I'm sure you guys can find a way out. Do internships. That is so important. if you ever come across my LinkedIn or anything for that matter, I've always done a lot of internships. Most of them have been unpaid, which is, I mean, I can't really do anything about it. But whenever you start working, I've seen a lot of us get internships which are unpaid, and then a lot of us don't end up doing it. But I think somewhere you have to do certain unpaid internships to just get started, to just put your foot ahead. That is so important, especially if you're like a second year student and you look for an internship, and a lot of the times they won't really pay you. Sometimes they would, and money is always good. So if you get money, really respect that. If you don't get money, just see if it is really helping you or not, which is also a very, very important point. Like if you're doing internship and you're actually getting good exposure, good experience, and so probably the internship letter is going to help you a lot ahead, you go do that internship for no money. But if you're doing an internship and it is not really going to help you, so then don't do for the sake of it if it's not even paying you. So I think that understanding is very, very important. I've done certain internships that I initially thought, oh, I was in my second year and I did them. I said, well, I'm not earning, so why should I do them? But I realized that experience helped me land another internship that actually paid well. So I think that is extremely important. Don't really wait for your fourth year internship period to do your first internship. I think that is some of the most wrong steps that you can take, because you are literally waiting for 3 years to do an internship when you can just do it from your first or second year to get a lot of experience. And I think I always emphasize on this fact that being in architecture college, you don't have to restrict yourself to doing architecture internships. Now, some might agree, some might not, but this is how I think. As an architecture student, you're not just learning architecture, you're learning a lot of things together. And as time goes by, you would agree with me even more if you're still watching this video and you're still in school. So why are you restricting yourself when you can do so much more? I've seen a lot of my friends not even pursue architecture after 5 years, and they are doing so well. It's all because they took one risk and did some internship, and that really clicked for them. So what if it clicks for you? Just do internships and build a strong portfolio. I think that would be the most important thing. Now let us talk about two of the biggest shocks I really got after joining architecture college, especially in my first year. The first thing would be that our lifestyle is just so weird. Like the things that they want from us and everything is something that we've never really seen in school. Especially, see, if you take architecture, I'm sure you've taken maths and science. So you are still in those R.D. Sharma's and chemistry books and physics books, and that's how you've been studying all your life. Whether you appeared for JEE or you appeared for CET, we till 12th are so used to those moti books and like exams and written exams and syllabus and cover the whole syllabus and having a very structured life, because that's how we grew up. That's how all those coaching classes and everybody teaches us. And in between we have those NATA classes also if you're taking, and they're also quite structured for that matter. And you have a very scheduled life, and then you suddenly go to architecture college and everything's haywire. One day they'll want you to roam around the city. The next day they'll want you to draw on a huge wall. And some other day they'll want you to make a model. And some other day you'll just go and do nothing in college. And some other day you'll have a written exam. And written exam for subjects that you don't even have books for. So it is quite weird. You just get into it and you're like, wait, where am I? Like, what do they really want from me? Like, there's no syllabus, there are no books, there's nothing, there's no lifestyle. And at the same time, while it all feels so chill, it is very nerve-wracking. There's a lot of competition, especially like when you start in first year. The students or any of your colleagues who have been good in drawing and art would make such wonderful sheets, and if you're not the best at drawing, you'll have a very hard time doing it. Like, I'll tell you all, if you ever watch my first year vlogs, you would see how much I would struggle with my assignments, because the sheets that my friends who were good at art and everything could do so quickly, I took so much more time. And I remember taking help from my mom, because my mom has been very much interested in art, and she's been the huge reason for me to get into design, because she was into art. and I would take her help because I could not really do those human drawings and like those A0 side sketches because it was very hard for me. And eventually, as the time passed by, I realized that in first year they push you to do hand-drawn stuff, but as you gradually go to second year, third year, you get into digital stuff, and then I got even more comfortable because that was something I could really do. So as the time went by, 5 years, I think with that I have really learned to be good, at least better than what I was in my art, in my 3D stuff and everything. And when you're in your first year, you can get very intimidated that everybody around me knows what to do and I am here struggling to make a human figure, and it is very alright. The best thing about architecture is that you don't really have to be best at sketching, which feels a little like a lie, especially when you're at the first year. But as you grow ahead, you realize I'm not lying. I'm actually telling you the truth. Even till today, I'm not the best at sketching, honestly. I try and avoid that. But I know enough sketching to sketch what is important. And that is enough. Trust me, that is enough. And probably the sketching that you require for your portfolio. That's all I know. So it can feel very intimidating because your lifestyle is going to change. And especially if you are going to be living in a hostel or on campus, it is going to be even more of a shocker because when you live on campus, your life is going to be very different. And I was somebody who lived off campus. I lived with my parents. So for them to understand that, for so long I'm in college, I don't even have proper books, and I study internet, say sometimes we watch a movie to study, or we do such stuff. Even my parents in my first year would be like super shocked. They're like, "तू पढ़ रही है कि नहीं? और तू क्या पढ़ती? तू सिर्फ drawing करती रहती है," which is for them because nobody has been in architecture. So they also felt like, "What am I really doing?" But then eventually they understood, and even I understood that this is a part of learning, and those things were also very important. This was some of the biggest shocks I got because the lifestyle just suddenly changed from how I was in school and how I was now in college. That was something which was a little difficult to digest. But yeah, I thought while I'm making this video, I should really speak about it. Now, I also asked you all a few questions on my YouTube community page. Thank you so much for your questions. Let us address them one by one. The first would be, what's something you wish you knew back when you started, but you didn't realize until later? That you might not end up being an architect, which is a weird thing. I remember on my first day, one of my professors told me that a lot of you all might actually not end up making buildings. But don't worry, this is a learning journey and you will discover yourself in that. Which is very weird because everyone wanted to get licensed. We just want to be an architect. But I didn't know that. It was actually very true that we all might not end up being one. And another thing, that the competition is you yourself, which is very hard to digest. But the truth is, yes, you are your own competition. Because architecture and the study in architecture is so visual, whatever assignments you make or whatever you do, you start comparing yourself. Oh, he got more than me because he did this, I couldn't do that. The competition never ends. So just keep it with yourself. Do better than what you did before. I think that will be easier for you to navigate. Which is why I think, my last few years were a little more easier than my first year. Which was very unexpected because I expected my first year would be easier than my fifth year. But I would really say my first year was difficult because I didn't have the correct mindset. And I hope with the pointers that I've shared, it will help you a bit in preparing yourself. Next question I'll take up is, what will be the workload be like in first semester and how can we manage with clubs and extracurriculars? I would really emphasize you all to join extracurriculars. Do not think that I have so many assignments to do, I'll not be able to do them because, if I go to this club and that club, and I'm not talking about the dance club, I'm talking about the college clubs. The college curriculum is designed in a way to always keep you occupied. But that does not mean that you leave everything. So I think you should really find a middle ground. Probably don't join a lot of extracurricular activities, just join the ones that interest you. Make sure that while you're working for that, it is not affecting your academics. Always remember, the deadline is extended most of the times. We used to have such weird deadlines and maximum times we would get it extended because nobody is able to do it. So you don't really have to run all the time कि मुझे आज ही assignment खत्म करना है and everything. I'm not telling you all to slack off, but just remember, if you're genuinely needing deadline extension, I guess it does happen in a lot of times, and as the years will pass by, you'll understand that. Now, as we are approaching the end of the video, let's take up the final question. What do you think about the scope or future of this field? Should I have very good skills in drawing, or can I learn it while pursuing the course? You can learn it while pursuing the course. I am an example for it, and I think, I don't know how many times I've said it, this is something you learn with time. And if you're someone who's make a last minute decision that, okay, I didn't get into engineering, so I'm getting into architecture, or like, wait, engineering or coding is not something I really want to do, so I'll just do architecture. A lot of us get into this field with this mindset too. So I cannot expect everyone to just start off and be a Zaha Hadid or like a Frank Gehry in this field. You learn with time, and that is very important. And you really have to realize that on the first day, you're not going to be your best version. When you're in your 5th year, you will be at least better than what you were in your 1st year. And that should be your goal. So art or anything of that sort, you should just know enough to get your way through. Beyond that, you can pick your professor's head, your colleague's head, and just get better at it. I think it is. You learn how to do it with time. And what is the scope of the field? I believe first question yourself, why do you really want to study architecture? Is it because engineering you didn't really get through, or was this like a last minute resort, or you just wanted to get into design or art and you wanted to study something practical, so you studied architecture? Like, you see a lot of memes online ki I wanted to study art but did the practical thing, studied architecture. Well, a lot of people do that too, but I think first clear yourself why you're doing it. Keep your motive to, really understand what this field is all about. Obviously, we don't understand everything in 5 years, but just develop your understanding, and then do study in a way that it helps you propel in whatever you do after 5 years. I think that should be the main goal. And I'm sure you would have heard a lot of things about salaries and jobs and everything, which is quite the negative side of the field, or something that you would start being concerned about, or something like that. But you also see a lot of people doing very well, so it's not like it is all bad. There's a lot of good things also that's happening. You just have to navigate your way through it. So do what is best for you. What is the scope of the field? It's actually endless, and this is something I am also exploring when I have done my architecture, and it's almost been a year since I graduated. The more I get into the field, the more I realize that people take different paths, and the ones who also stay in architecture take different paths. So we never really know until we get into one. So take the risk if you feel like, and just do your best. I think that's all that matters. And with this, we come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. A lot of this video was very unscripted because it just came up in my mind that it's been a year since I finished college, and I thought I should make a video on what the first yearites can expect, because a lot of you all will be going to college or will be thinking of taking up architecture right now. So if I could just be of any help, or whenever you're watching this video, I hope this video could help you all. I was also thinking if I should start one-on-one counseling sessions if you guys want to take up architecture or not, because I remember when I was in class 10th, I did go for a counseling session to just help me figure out if I really want to get into this field at that point or not, and that really helped. So I thought if I should start that or not, I'm not very sure. You guys can tell me in the comments if you're interested. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day ahead. See you all. Bye.